Hey YouTube, League turnover today, and I wasn't actually going to cover Ultra League because, I've barely played Ultra League this season. 80% of the people are going to play Great League this week. But then someone in my video mentioned, people may actually want to play Ultra League if they're trying to push towards the Platinum medals. So as you go up the rankings, you need 50 Platinum medals, and one of them is Great League, amount of wins in Great League, Ultra League, Master League. Now, I'm pretty sure that you can actually get those wins just by battling your friends in the Ultra League. Have them go in with like 10 CP Pokemon in the Ultra League and you battle them and then beat them and then you'll get those wins. But if you don't got any friends, GBL may not be a bad option to pump up some of those wins for the medals for level 80 on your push there. So if you're going to play, you need to know what the Pokemon are, what the rankings are, and some team ideas. So I will link Axon and Home Slice in the comments here because, again, I have not really played Ultra League this season. They have played in abundance. So I'm linking there. I'm showing their teams. Might as well showcase their channels. So in terms of the rankings haven't changed too much. The Belly Bolt's Corviknight core, which was used, I think, multiple times by Axon here, is like is the toughest core to like beat. Belly Bolt, Corviknight, both bulky. Belly Bolt is like, it doesn't say XL beside, it's like level 42, so it's not too many XLs. Corviknight is pretty up there in the XLs, but it did have a community day, so you may have access to all those XLs. Otherwise, they basically cover each other's weaknesses, right? Corviknight weak to electric and fire, and Belly Bolt's electric they will obviously deal with the Sucker Punch. And then you have Belly Bolt's weak to ground, and Corviknight should deal with that, right? So it's a pretty strong core, and they're both hard, like spammy enough and bulky enough to just cover each other's weaknesses. There's other Pokemon here, right? If you don't want to use a Corviknight, Galarian Moltres, not that that is more accessible, but if you have one caught, Galarian Moltres has been pretty strong in the Great League and Ultra League. And then you have a bunch of Pokemon just with like buff moves over the past little bit. Lapras, when it got Psywave, became instant meta. Florges with Chilling Water, Empoleon with Metal Sounds. All these Pokemon got buffed. And then there's some Pokemon in here that have just been meta for a Togekiss, right? Togekiss with Peck. But for Alligator, Virizion, Gastrodon one, it got Water Pulse here. Jellicent's been meta forever. So just a lot of pretty meta Pokemon. Dragons obviously had a lot of play in the Ultra League already, and now seem to have a little bit more with that Dragon Tail rework, where you're just kind of spamming a bit faster. But otherwise, it's just a lot of Pokemon that you would expect. So can you play in the Ultra League without XL Pokemon, Legendary Pokemon, a Pokemon with Legacy moves? I don't. Yes and no. Like you can get by with Here are the Pokemon on this. Well, Chilling Water is a Legacy move. Ice Beam is a Legacy move. So I think the Legacy moves are actually the toughest part, because so is Hydro Cannon. There's a lot of non-XL Pokemon here. Like I said, Belly Bolt's level 42, so it's not that much. You don't need many XLs for that. Lapras is the same thing, like 41, 42. Florges, you don't need XLs. Empoleon, you don't need XLs. For Alligator, you don't need XLs. Togekiss, you don't need XLs. But a lot of them, pretty much every single one of them, come with a Legacy move, right? Aura Sphere on Togekiss, Hydro Cannon, Chilling Water, Ice Beam. So is it accessible? More accessible to Master League. It is pretty tough when you have to look at just Pokemon with a bunch of Legacy moves. But a lot of these Pokemon that I just mentioned are not legendary, right? In fact, none of these are legendary. I've purposely not listed a legendary to show you that, yes, you can compete in the Ultra League without legendary and to a certain extent without XLs, Legacy moves, community day moves, whatever you want to call them, you kind of need. But as you're going to see with these teams coming up, when you have XL Pokemon, it helps. So, you got your Corviknight, Florges, and Regidrago. Regidrago, one of the dragons that got the Dragon Breath rework, which means you are now spamming a crazy hard-hitting dragon energy at like 12 turns. So great Pokemon there. Does cover the Corviknight, Reggie cover each other's weakness as well. Ice and Fairy on the dragons, and then Fire and Electric, and they cover each other's weakness as well. Florges as the safe swap. I've seen this thing used as a safe swap multiple times. When it has Chilling Water, it does just become that much stronger. Because even some of the main poison Pokemon, this is the Ultra League, but even some of the main poison Pokemon in the Great League, like Clodsire, are half ground, so they're weak to water. So Florges is a pretty solid safe swap. Basically, you can lead either of the two. It's a balanced team, right? So you can lead whatever one you want, and then use Florges as a safe swap if you see your weaknesses. Speaking about the balanced core, which I mentioned, I already mentioned this core. I've already kind of mentioned why bulky, spammy, just cover each other's weaknesses very well. So Belly Bolt's Corviknight. And then you need a safe swap. And if you watched my video this morning, I explained why Dust Noir is a safe swap. If you're not, well, welcome to this video. It is a great safe swap because it is a ghost Pokemon. Ghost only has 2 weaknesses. Other ghosts, which you'll be able to hit super effective against yourself, and then darks. And so the 2 things that are going to cause you problems outside of like the ghost where you're both hitting super effective against each other is darks, which hit super effective into you, and normal typing, which resist your ghost moves. And dynamic punch hits super effective against both of those. So a pretty strong Pokemon to have as a safe swap. Another Pokemon that's very nice as a safe swap, which I've used give or take 1 million times so far this season as the safe swap in Great League, is Blastoise. So you have your Fortress, which is double weak to fire. You have 2 Pokemon in the back that will resist fire, a dragon and a water. You have a great safe swap in Blastoise where you get to spam Hydro Cannon, and then where water, if you go get to water Pokemon, that's going to be tough, but other Pokemon that resist water like Dragon will be weak to the ice, and Grass will be weak to the Ice Beam, hence the Ice Beam. And then if you can flip switch, the Dragon will resist the fire, which Fortress is weak to, and then again, weak to ice, weak to Fairy, Reggie, and then Fortress can deal with that. So very balanced teams. This is kind of what I like about Accent. He's pretty good at these like balanced teams and a safe swap. So a balanced team and a safe swap, right? You got your Zygarde. I mean, if you've watched this channel for a while, I've got like 12 cells, if that. I do not do many roots, and when I do, I wish they gave it more than 50% of the time, it seems. But you know, it's a ground dragon, so it's very weak to ice. So that's why you have Lapras as a water ice as your main answer in the back. And then both are pretty bulky, and then Dusknoir again as your safe swap. And then again, you know, you're weak to grass and you're weak to electric, and for the most part, Zygarde will deal with those. Guzzlord, Runerigus, Corviknight. Corviknight, weak to electric. 2 Pokemon here, a dragon and a ground that will resist electric. You know, you have, I would assume Runerigus is your safe swap. You see a fairy, you're fighting on the lead. You are going to safe swap into Runerigus. You got your spam of Shadow Claw is a great move. Rock Tomb's a nice cover move for flyers, or normal typings that resist the ghost. And then you have Shadow Ball, which is just Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball with same type attack bonus, a great move. And then balance there. So a lot of balanced teams. Home Slice, I think these 2 from Home Slice are balanced, but Home Slice likes to run more unbalanced teams at times. But it's Shadow Scizor. I always forget this dragon. I don't know. I do not know why I forget this dragon every time it comes up. It is a Kyurem. There it is. It's because I don't use it much. Kyurem with Glaciate, and then Hydro Cannon. So again, a balanced team. Scizor only weak to fire. 2 Pokemon in the back. Actually, it's also, Kyurem's only neutral to fire because it is half ice, I believe. Yes. So Kyurem's only neutral to fire because it's half ice, but you have that very spammy Dragon Breath now. And Glaciate would be resisted on the fire, but it is a move that lowers your opponent's attack, so you can really put pressure on your opponent there. Plus, a Draco Meteor is just a nuke. And then the main answer to the fire in the back is a Swampert. Swampert only weak to grass, and again, you can deal with that with both Pokemon on the safe swap there and on the lead. And again, he uses Kyurem this time with the double water, and I've kind of explained this morning's team, and he did the same thing with Azumarill and for Alligator on an ABB-ish style team, is that you're mostly weak to electric and grass in the back. For Alligator, the safe swap with Ice Beam can deal with some of those weaknesses there. And then Kyurem can resist the electric and grass, and then you have your other one roam free. Jellicent can also be used as a safe swap at times, but Feraligatr is a fantastic safe swap. So that is it. That is the meta and some Pokemon that are very strong. You can see, you got some XL Pokemon, you got some legendary Pokemon, you got some Community Day Pokemon. But that's the way the Ultra League is. That's why a lot of people do not play it. But it is, I think the meta is actually quite open. I've just mentioned like Kyurem's ranked 26th. Guzzlord's at 32. Malamar's at 33. I'm trying to see. Like Runerigus, I just mentioned, is at 41. Scizor is at 49. Drapion hasn't been on this list yet, but Blastoise is 50. Actually, that's Shadow Blastoise. Drapion's at 51. So there's a lot of Pokemon that are even in like the 60, 70 range that are very usable. So much like the Great League, it feels like it's a lot more open, but it tends to congregate towards some of the higher ranked Pokemon for the reasons of great typing and stats and moves. But that is it. I will probably showcase just Great League this week, if I'm being honest, plus with whatever events are on. I know I have a few Great Leagues from earlier in the season saved, so we will start pumping those out for Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll update with new teams after that. So appreciate you watching. Good luck if you're playing Ultra League. Good luck if you're on the grind for medals, because I know that is the thing. This is a complete side note. So level 70 to 71, the 999 nice throws. There have been a couple people on my friends list who hit the 999 nice throws within like 2 days, like 2 or 3 days they hit it. I have made it such an effort over this past week to open up the game more. Every Pokemon I see, I'm throwing. I'm going for walks in the morning, and I'm out on the walk, just throwing every single ball. And lucky this morning, I actually had a good grind. But up until, I'm shooting this on Monday, so the day before, up until Monday, I had 82 nice throws. I'm just like, I do not know how people play. I felt like I threw 5,000 balls for 82 nice throws. I obviously didn't, but it honestly felt like a grind to throw that many. I guess I'm used to an auto catcher. But also I don't play the game much, right? I've kind of mentioned like when I open the game, it's mostly for GBL, and then I'm spinning a couple stops, catching a couple Pokemon and closing the game more or less for the day. So, if I'm struggling for 999 nice throws now, I cannot imagine when we have to hit like 1,000 excellent throws at level 80. But that is Future Dan's problem. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.